One of the questions we get asked the very most is, do you have a therapist you can recommend for me? And while we wish that we knew of therapists in every single place, in every single part of the country, we don't. So what do we tell them instead, Mel?
We say check out BetterHelp because it's online, it's at a reasonable price, and you can be matched with a therapist within 24 hours. I've also used them, and they have been great. And if you don't like your therapist, guess what? Click, and get a new one.
Absolutely. It's so hard when you have an in-person therapist, if you're not clicking with them, to cut them off and get a new one. So that's not an issue with BetterHelp. So we always tell people to try BetterHelp. And if you use our promo code, which is
trybetterhelp.com/WWDN,
you get 10% off your first month.
Go ahead and try it out. That's trybetterhelp.com/WWDN. And you know what? I'm a big fan of doing therapy where you don't have to wear pants, but nobody knows about it.
Are you wearing pants right now, Mel?
I'll see you later. Bye. That's trybetterhelp.com/WWDN. Welcome to this episode of Don't Get Scammed.
Yeah.
By us.
We're not scamming them, Mel. That made it sound like we're trying to scam them.
We're not. I just think people should always kind of use their brains and critically think.
We've been doing this for 5 years, and it turns out we are Nigerian princes after all. But we're going to talk about that because that's not actually out of the realm of possibility, Mel.
Yeah. Everyone knows about that scam. It's like,
do they?
I hope so.
I hope so.
There's
too.
just like many derivatives, though, of that. So we put out some questions to some of our Widow Wives Club members about some scam situations that they've maybe experienced or things of that nature. And we're here to talk about that and what a lot of the widow world and regular world deals with. So
yeah, and I swear there are so many documentaries on all the streaming platforms about scamming lately, and I've watched a few of them, and I've actually learned some good tips that we're going to pass on today. So
I love it.
Should we do it? So there are many varieties of scam in the world. Basically, if there is something that happens in your life or you have to pay money for something, somebody's going to try and get you to give them money for that. Like, I swear that scammers are super creative and they're getting smarter and they will capitalize off of any stupid thing. For instance, Mel, have you gotten a text about your tolls that you owe money for?
Oh, absolutely. And here's what's funny. In Utah, there is a freeway with a toll sort of thing on it.
There's like a toll road in Utah.
But you don't have to have a toll tag like maybe you do in Texas, or you don't have to have an easy pass like you do in New York or in other areas of the country. So when I remember getting the first text about your tolls are unpaid. Well, I remember when I lived in New York and I had a toll tag account, and actually I still have an account. It just takes $1 out every month because they make you tie it to your bank account. I actually think the phone number that they send it to is for the other person that I had the old number before. But I get toll texts all the time. And here's how they're sneaky. They say, you owe this for your toll. Click here to access your account and to pay. The problem is in the click here.
Yeah.
They never are going to send a text about it. So just kind of be...
The toll people, the people who are actually in charge of tolls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's toll tag scams.
I mean, there's so many. But the one that I wanted to zero in on for a bit is yay old romance scam, because I feel like widows are super targeted for those. And they're I don't want to say super susceptible, but they are susceptible because of the situation that we're in. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how to recognize and how to avoid getting sucked into a romance scam. How do you feel about that, Mel?
Great.
Okay. And some of this stuff is true for like all scams, because a lot of scams share similar patterns and ways to kind of avoid getting trapped in them. But some of them are, specific to romance scams.
At the end of the day, though, what everybody needs to remember is the behavior of somebody trying to first gain confidence from somebody and then take something from them. The behavior is the same, whether it's a romance scam, whether it's a toll tag scam, it's your bank, whether it's the Nigerian prince. So those kinds of things are overarching for everybody. But of course, widows are vulnerable and seen as people to, quote, prey upon by people who are perhaps scammers. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And then at the end, we'll talk a little bit about more regular life scams to look out for.
Last year, there was a company who researched and found that almost 60,000 people fell victim to romance scams, and it resulted in a loss of almost $700 million. Now, you hear that and you go, oh, that's a lot of money and that's a lot of people, but that is almost certainly way less than actually happened, because when this happens to people, their first response is to be what?
Embarrassed and ashamed.
Embarrassed and ashamed. They know they're not getting their money back. And so instead of reporting it or talking about it, they just chalk it up to, a life experience. And so it's almost certainly very, very underreported. So here's some tips on how to not be one of the statistics. The first thing is to avoid assuming that you are immune. I feel like a lot of us feel that way. Like, I'm too smart. I have a lot of street smarts. I'm not going to get sucked into this. But when we take that kind of arrogant stance, sometimes we let our guard down, or we might not put together red flags. And the other thing is that we might be unwilling to ask other people for their opinion, because if we're smart, we don't need anybody else's help. But scammers succeed with people of all education levels, ages, life experiences. It's not just dumb people. I'll say it that way. They can seem very genuine, caring, and truthful, and they are professionals at making you doubt yourself and seem very legitimate. So,
you know the term con man?
Yes.
Do you know where that comes from, Anita?
I know it's for confidence, man. Yes.
Yeah. So everybody, the word for that is confidence. They want to get into your good graces. These people play the long game. They're very patient. They can go for years, and you might not know that they're kind of grooming you or finding out information about you. And then, all of a sudden something might happen and they need your help. Or there was something I just listened to. It was really good, and I'll look it up in a minute and let everybody know so they can listen to it. But the whole story was this woman who had done the same thing. The behavior is the same, right? For all of her victims. And I think she has like hundreds across the US. But her whole thing was she would meet somebody, she would immediately become really friendly and then offer them something. She'd find their vulnerabilities and then say, I can help you with that. I'm getting some money soon from my inheritance. So just wait, and then they're like, oh, this person's so nice. They care about me. Then that person figures out kind of the situation. And then all of a sudden that person needs some money for something else. And they're like, but don't worry, my inheritance is coming soon.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's by trust. So the things that we value in friendship, trust, confidence, those are the things that are exploited.
And we're going to talk more about some of those things as well. So step number 2, I don't know why I'm calling these steps, but your default when you meet somebody online is that they are not a real person until they prove themselves to be a real person. Not the other way around. Don't assume that they're a real person until they prove to be a scammer. Assume they're a scammer until they prove to you that they're a real person. So scammers are on every single platform. Okay. Of course, they're on dating sites. We know that. They're also on Facebook. They're also on Instagram. Also, we know that. But if the platform or the app that you are on has a chat function, there are scammers trolling that. Words with friends, they're on there. I have even started getting scam requests from Strava. Okay.
Wait.
Yes.
How? Words with friends?
Yes. If
What do
there
they
is
do?
if there's a chat function, then they just slide into the chat and they start a conversation. I just listened to a whole scam documentary where a lady got scammed on Words with Friends. That's how she met her romance scammer. So,
Wow.
yeah, my favorite is the Strava one. Strava, if you don't know, is an app that tracks like running and biking and fitness things. And I keep getting friend requests from the most ridiculous people. And I'm like, absolutely not. So LinkedIn, they're all over the place. And they're not only there trying to scam you romance style, but all the different types of scams, investment scams, all of that kind of stuff. But they're everywhere. And I think it's helpful to understand how scammers function, romance scammers especially, because it changes the like internal decision making that we have. For instance, I kind of always in my mind picture a single dude in his basement on the internet, talking to different people, and that it's a singular person that's doing it. However, it is pretty common that it's not a single person who's trying to scam people, but it's a group of people who are working together. It's often in a different country, and they are working as a team. And why that matters is, for instance, you might think nobody is going to spend this much time talking to me without being a real person, or nobody's going to go to the effort of setting up a fake website, or nobody has time to research me and my background. Well, if it was one person and they had a life, that might be true. But when you're talking about a group of 25 people who each have different jobs in the scam process, they do have the time and they can talk to you for years before they need to get something out of you.
And now we have AI, which is a tool. So those 25 people could maybe do the equivalent work of, who knows, 250 people.
Yes, because now they can use AI to search through your social media and all of your profiles and all the information they can find on the internet, and they can find your pain points, and they can just kind of summarize who you are without having to do the work. So AI is making things, oh boy, a lot trickier. These groups of people will also purchase quote unquote playbooks. So I kind of imagine like, how you can buy those murder mysteries in a box? Mm-hmm. It's like that for scammers, right? It's got all of their backstory. It's got the pictures that they've stolen from somebody's profile. It's got videos. It's got, if they say this, you say this. This is, this is how many kids you have. This is the name of your company. So, and here's a website that we've set up that shows all of this, that, and the other. So it's not just a guy in the basement who you're dealing with. It's professionals.
Correct. And they can duplicate Facebook, social media profiles of your friends and family to make the con continue to go. So there are actually a lot of really good documentaries and podcasts about that. So it's scary. That doesn't mean, though, that you can't participate in the world. So,
yes.
Of course, we're like, here's the scary things. But if you know how to deal with them, or if you know what's happening, at least that's going to help you so that you can be a human on the planet and not just isolate.
Right. It's like, it's the same thing as wearing seatbelts. I tell my kids this all the time. Like, if there are things that we can control that are reasonable to help keep us safe, let's do that. So educating yourself is one of those things that can help keep you safe. So why not do that? So let's talk about the patterns that you might find in these types of scams. The first thing is that scammers move quickly from the getting to know you phase into the professing their love for you phase. So they use words like destiny or true love, or make it sound like it was meant to be that you came into their life when you did. They might call you queen, or that you're a gift, or any of these really kind of over the top, like, I need you and you need me kind of a thing.
I feel like I would run away so fast if somebody called me queen.
They might call you a different. No, actually, I think they would. I don't think that they would call you anything.
I don't think
other
they would
than
know
that.
what to do with me.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Don't be arrogant, Mel. But the whole point of that is it's especially effective if you are feeling lost. And a lot of us feel that way after our spouse or our partner has died. We've lost our romantic partner. We have lost our sounding board. And it feels nice to be loved. Like, that's just, we crave that as humans. And so that's, I think, part of the reason why widows are a high value target, because we are devastated and feeling loved feels good. So,
Yep.
It's love bombing. Happens in a lot of different areas, but this is one place where we keep our eyes out. The next thing is to look out for is that anybody who has circumstances that inherently make it difficult for them to meet is something that you should be watching out for. So, for instance, this is why so many scammers work on offshore oil drilling rigs. Or they work in the military, or they are international businessmen, or they're cruise ship captains, my favorite is the UN, because that just makes them very unreliable and gives them a lot of built-in excuses to not be able to meet up with you.
Hey guys, just checking in and want to say if you are enjoying this podcast
and you want to see it keep going, maybe it's helped you through your widowhood journey and you think that it might help others on their widowhood journey, you can support that cause by joining our Patreon.
Some of the things that you get as a Patreon beneficiary are ad-free episodes, so you don't have to hear ads like this.
You also get exclusive content, and at a certain level, you might also get an exclusive t-shirt. You can only get that place.
That is true. It's pretty cool. There are 4 different tiers available, so check it out. It's patreon.com/WWDN.
And as an extra bonus, very often you get your names read by one of my kids, and they will do a terrible job with the pronunciation. And that's like a bonus, I think.
I think it's kind of the best. I would much rather hear somebody butcher my name than say it correctly.
A child butcher it than an adult do it correctly. Yep. So go to patreon.com/WWDN to keep our podcast going and support the widowed cause.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Yeah, their excuses aren't the widow excuses of, I wanted to be invited, but I didn't want to come.
Yeah.
It's, I'm a scammer and I don't want you to figure me out.
And the other one that's is that they're hiding from like an abusive ex or something like that, pulls on your heartstrings and also makes them super unreliable so they can't meet with you. I followed a lady who's like a scam expert, and she said that if you cannot have face-to-face meeting with them within 8 weeks, you're done. No excuses. Yeah. I don't know where the 8 weeks comes from, but it seems fairly reasonable that if somebody's very actually interested in you, they're going to find a way to meet up with you. So on that note, we in the past have talked about doing video conference calls as a way to get face-to-face meeting, but not have to be in the same place, because people do live far away from each other. But that's getting trickier as well, because it used to be that they would say, well, my webcam is broken, or there would be a lot of excuses why they couldn't do a video conference call, or my internet connection is poor. But now there are other options for them. And I've seen it where they will take a video from the person who they've stolen their identity, a video of that person just talking, and they'll remove the audio. And then they will have the video conference. They'll make it as short as they can. And when the person's mouth isn't moving at the right time, then they just blame it on Zoom or the connection that's happening. So like, just clock that. That shouldn't happen like that, really. You have to use your brains on that one. But the thing that's a little bit more insidious is AI again. So people can deep fake videos, and there are so many filters. They can put somebody else's face on their own body. And so they can respond to you and have a conversation with you with a different person's face. However, this is like the best tip of the day. This is the best one. I don't know if that's true, but filters right now are not good with motion. And so 2 things that you can do to make sure that you are talking to a real and actual human is to ask them to stand up, turn around, and sit back down.
Ooh.
And if they do that, the filter is going to break, and they're going to have a fuzzy, weird filter at some point in time. The other thing you can do is just ask them to play peekaboo with you. Because if you've played on Instagram, you know that when the face gets covered, the filter goes a little haywire, and watch out for that. Now, if you ask them to do that and they won't do it, that also gives you some information if they're pushing back on that, because a normal person should be like, why? But not angry or weird about doing it. That makes sense.
Anita,
Yes.
go. Peekaboo.
Okay.
Peekaboo.
Ah!
We're playing peekaboo.
And we're both real people.
Yes. Man. Yeah, and we are recording this in September of 2025. So if you're listening to this episode in the future, who knows where AI is going to be by then. So I'm sure we'll have to record another one and we'll have a different tip.
I worry about that. I'm like, we just won't. The robots will be running the world. So who knows? Along with the deep fakes and filters, AI, we talked about how AI is making it harder because they can scan through all of your information. But the other thing that they can do is they don't have to be the one having the conversation with you, the chat conversation. They can set up a bot to do that, and you can be talking to AI. And the models are pretty good. And so it can be hard to even know if you're talking to a real person. And that's great for them because number one, they don't have to put in the effort to have somebody having a conversation with you. And number two, it removes that thing that we used to rely on, which was poor grammar and weird word choice, right? That used to be the thing that we looked for. And you still should look for that. Like if their grammar is weird and they're professing to be an English speaker, but they're just choosing weird words.
Maybe we should now just look for really good grammar, and that's the key.
Okay, but I have some tips for how to figure out if you're talking to AI too. And these are actually really fun because so the first thing, and I've seen these in action, and the responses from AI are funny because they just are like, the first one is if you ask the person you're chatting with what the exact date is today. AI can't answer that question right now, which is super weird.
What?
It's because the models have to be updated and they're not updated on the same day. So they will, when people have asked bots to do this, they are totally wrong. They're like, oh, I think it's like the 15th of September, and it's like July or August or, February, and they don't know. So ask them the date, and that if they can't give you the date, they're AI. The second one is, have you seen the video about Say Potato?
No.
We got to find this song for it. There's a guy who makes like dating back and forths into songs. And this was a popular one for a long time. If you ask AI to say potato, like it just can't because it doesn't have the context. It doesn't understand why you're asking it to do that. Ask them to say a nonsense word that doesn't have any context into the conversation, and that will sometimes lure them out. But this is my favorite one because
Okay.
I think it's just fun and it's like very sneaky. So in the middle of your conversation, go to Google Translate and put a sentence in there in some crazy weird language. Choose Azerbaijani. I don't know, whatever you want, have Google translate it for you, and then put it in the chat. Okay. A normal human will either say, what? Or will take a while they take that and copy and paste it into Google Translate and try and figure out what you're trying to say and then maybe reply. AI will just reply and won't make any, it doesn't know that it's a different language. It speaks all the languages. So,
Anita,
yes.
this is reminding me of something from our past.
What?
So everybody, we grew up in Utah, which means we grew up religious. Do you remember being in Sunday school? And people would always say, here's how you know if it's the devil talking to you or not. You ask it these questions.
Oh,
And
yes.
now the devil is AI.
Okay, I had completely forgotten about that. So
You're welcome.
thank you. We will do an episode on how to tell if it's the devil next week. Just
Yes.
kidding. This might change in the future as AI gets better. But right now, that's how you can figure out if you're talking to a real person or if you're talking to a bot. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Or Satan.
Or Satan.
Yeah.
No, his was something to do with like poking him in the eye or something like that.
I don't know. There were some phrases. It was like in junior high, that when
Yes.
that kind of
that's so
age.
funny.
And all of us were so scared because it was like instilled into us, like, don't
The-
mess up or else you're going
the
to
devil will get
hell.
you.
And the devil will come to you in a dream or an angel. How do you know if it's the devil or an angel?
Also, I was always worried about drugs, and nobody ever tried to give me drugs. So
I know I never had any of those scenarios
I
happen where
know.
they're like,
So
hey, little girl,
I
you want to
know
do some drugs? You want to smoke this marijuana?
this marijuana. I know it never happened to me, even as
Oh.
an adult. It's okay. Okay.
Also, even still as an adult, and I'm a musician. So
Yes,
how funny is that?
it is
Yeah.
funny. I guess we cracked the code.
They scammed us.
They scammed you. The next thing is that scammers will want to take the conversation quickly from the platform of whatever app you've met them on onto an encrypted platform. So the three ones that are the big ones are WhatsApp, Telegraph, and Signal. And the reason they want to do this is because they don't want anybody knowing what they're doing and they don't want to get caught.
Hmm.
And it's going to make it harder for them to face any consequences.
Yes.
So if they're like, hey, let's go elsewhere very quickly, that's a red flag.
Yeah. Don't go to a second location, even if it is digital.
That's right. The next step is to become a detective in Karen Merrick's footsteps. For all you guys who don't know, Karen Merrick is one of our moderators for the Widow Wives Club, and she is notorious for like going on deep dives and finding out if people are who they say they are. She's the best. So, the first and your best friend is the reverse image search. So, if you meet a person and they send you a picture, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to reverse image search that because if they've stolen somebody else's photos, then that's going to help you figure out. And a lot of times it's the same person. Like a lot of people get their identities stolen and used a lot. So,
Do you guys remember our interview with our friend Jenny, who had her husband's picture stolen and placed on dating profiles all over the internet? Anita, I hear we have a store.
oh, we sure do. We've actually had it for quite a while. It's called the Snarky Grief Shop, and it's where you will find all of our best grief merch. That is, yes, a little snarky. For instance, it's where you will find the official widow card that you can pull and use at your convenience.
You can put it in your wallet, and anytime you need to use it, pull it out, play the widow card.
Yeah, we have glow in the dark stickers. We have shirts that say, "Be nice, my husband is dead." We also have the ones that are not quite as jarring, so that you can wear them out in public and not feel weird. But sometimes you need that shirt.
I wear my Be Nice, My Husband is Dead to bed because I'm a little scared to go in public with it, but you've worn it on airplanes before
Oh,
with your kids.
Yeah, every time we go to the airport, I wear that shirt because I'm just like, listen, I got to get all these kids through security. Just be nice to me. Thank you so much. And it's worked for the most part.
Some of the less snarky grief shirts are podcast shirts or Widow Wives Club. We also have Resilient AF, right, Anita? What else we got in there?
Yeah, which we're telling everybody who cares, like Mel's mom, that means American fork because she can't know what it really means, guys.
Yeah.
Stickers and mugs and notebooks and just cool stuff that you can use to express your snarky grief. You'll find it by going to our website, shop.widowwedonow.com. There's a lot of W's in there, so just make sure that you've counted them and there's the right number.
We will link to that in the show notes, and it's also in our app, which you can get from the App Store. Can people get it from our regular website too?
Yes, if you go to widowwedonow.com, there's a link for the shop in there too.
Great. If you'd like to show your snark or have something a little more subtle, go ahead and check that out. Again, that's
shop.widowwedonow.com. Yes, because he was what, Mel?
in the military.
Yes. And actually, I secretly love it when I get scammer friend requests from guys in the military because their literal names are on their literal shirts. And I'm like, you idiot. Don't tell me your name is
Corporal Johnson.
Dennis Benjamin when your shirt says Lieutenant Colonel,
Anita Coyle.
whatever. Yeah. My favorite thing to do, I don't know if I should do this, but I like to do it, is I will figure out who that person is because you can figure out from their insignia and how many stars they are, what their rank is, even if you can't see their name. And then I will search that person up. I will find their Wikipedia page and I will send it to that person.
Oh, awesome. Okay, that's funny because another thing that I listened to last week, it was a guy who had become one of those people, become one of the people that they stole his photo, and other people were using it in romance scams. And so he would get a ton of emails and they're like, "You're ruining my life." And he's like, "Excuse me?" So he actually has a site up and he's like, "My name is da 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 da. Somebody has stolen my picture." And like, it's kind of a full-time job for him now.
It ruins their lives. It's
Yeah.
really awful.
It ruins everybody's lives. Like the people who are like, "I felt this was my best friend." And even though they know it's a scam now, they still feel the emotions of talking to the scammer. And they're like, "But I thought we were meant to be. Even though I know it's a scam, like I still have the love in my heart." Like you guys, our emotions are no joke. Look at all of the pain and suffering that we go through. First of all, in regular life, and then as a widow. And then you're a broken widow and you want to date and you're trying to learn how to trust again. These are scary. So be careful.
I watched a documentary where a lady who'd been scammed found out that the person she was scammed wasn't the real person, but she was still like, "I want to move in with you," to the real person. And he's like, "I'm not the guy that was chatting with you all that time." She's like, "I know, but I still love you." So yeah.
Oh,
Okay. So besides Google image or reverse image search, Google the name. Just see what they got out there. Look at their Facebook, their Instagram, their TikTok accounts. A real Facebook account will have a pretty long history. It will have a lot of photos and posts, and the captions will make sense with the photo. A lot of them will just take a bunch of photos and stick them on there, and it will be like, "God is good," or "blessed," or it will be like straight from some website, like, "The US military is known for their capabilities in such and such and such and such." You're like, "What?"
okay. But I know
Anyway,
real people with Facebook accounts like that, but they're just a little bit off.
but are they all like that? I feel like you can get the spidey sense. And then their comments, like if there are comments, they're not relevant. Real people will have things that make a little bit more sense. Now, that's not to say that scammers can't have Facebook pages that do look legit, because we talked about before, when they're working in teams, it might be somebody's job just to make a fake Facebook or Instagram account and make it look realistic. So it doesn't mean that they are real if they have a good Facebook account, but if they don't, then that's something to clock.
So I've been scammed in real life with romance scams, sort of.
Tell me more.
It wasn't somebody from a different place. It was somebody that was a real person and we were together for a while, but this person had a lot of separate lives.
Yeah.
So it's like not all of these scams are going to just be like a stranger in another country. Like you're going to meet them in real life too. Hopefully you don't, but you might. And here's the thing that happens. The thing that Anita talked about first, gaining trust, that always happens. And that happened to me. And then what it is there's so much truth and just a little bit of the lies, or enough things that your intuition's like, that doesn't seem right. But then what you do is you're looking back over your history with this person and you think, well, but here are these other times where this was honest or this was true and da 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 da. So what you do is you start to doubt yourself, and that can go for so long. It happened to me. It was unbelievable the amount of lies told. But then when I found out about all of the different lives that this person had and the different relationships this person had, it was astounding how much of like truth was in certain things and then lies. And I think sometimes people like that, they believe what they're saying. And
Right.
so sometimes they feel genuine, but stuff just doesn't line up. So if your intuition goes off, follow it through. Because you know what? Who cares if it's like, oh, I might hurt their feelings. So guess what? Would you rather have hurt feelings and like get conned, or have the road to destruction of your emotions happen? Or would you rather know the truth?
Or both.
It's
Why not
just
all?
like, yeah, I mean, and these things can go for years. Like for me, I think it was like over a period of like 2 or 3 years or something. And I was so blindsided, first of all, when some of the first things started happening. And then I would convince myself it wasn't true. And then they would figure out what lies I could figure out and twist them. And they would find out my pain points and go to that. And then this person just did this with a bunch of different people. to where it was just unbelievable. I mean, it was like the person scammed their own family members,
Mhm.
like told family members different stories. They isolate people. So that behavior, even though that's not online, it still is the same types of behavior that you see online. So there will be enough truth that you're like, well, that's true there, but that doesn't mean all of it's true. Just please proceed with caution.
And you can convince yourself of a lot, like especially it's a grooming process too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was going to say this earlier, just because you meet somebody in person does not mean that they're telling the truth, but it does eliminate a huge swath of the people who are trying to scam you. You know what I'm saying? It's you're not going to be being scammed by the people like a big consortium if you meet the people, but they're still like shady people
Yeah.
just
And sometimes they're not always romance. They could be like a friend, someone that wants to be your actual friend.
yeah. I mean, and like Ponzi schemes and there's all sorts of other types of people who are trying to get at your money.
Also, speaking of podcasts, Apple Podcasts has a really great podcast about Ponzi. And
Yeah.
I don't even think it has any ads. Everyone go listen to it. It's so good. But people were talking about how they believed him because he was an immigrant and they were immigrants and they wanted to help, help
Hmm.
the plight of the immigrant. And they first started calling these Peter Paul scams because what a Ponzi scheme is you're robbing Peter to pay Paul. And that's where that first came from. So sometimes it's like, well, maybe the results are honorable in quotes. And they're saying, well, I just need this money so that I can pay this creditor or I can pay this investor. And now I need your money from you. And then they'll do that same thing to the next
Yeah.
person.
On the note of this works for real people that you have met in person and the online people is you can look up professional licenses as well. So most states, if they say they're a doctor, look up their medical license. If you can't find it, there's a good reason. You know what I'm saying? So you can do that on real people and fake people
Real
too.
and fake people. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's the crux of it. If anybody asks you to send them money, don't. The end. Full stop. Even if you've been talking to them for years and they've never asked you for anything, if somebody you haven't met in person asks you for money, the answer is no. And if somebody in real life asks you for money, that's a different conversation that there's a little bit more nuance to. But the answer, if you haven't met them in person, is no. I joined this widows group that's supposed to help prevent widows from getting scammed. And while I was scrolling through it, the thing that was really sad was there were so many messages or posts from people that were saying, this is my situation. This is what the person needs the money for. This is why this is different and this is legit. Please tell me it's legit. And every single time, as an outsider reading it, you're like, no, it's not legit. No, no, no. And it's so sad to see people try and convince themselves and others why this situation is different and it's not a scammer. And it just is. Like 100% of the time. Common excuses are family emergencies, medical emergencies, travel expenses, rescuing them from a dangerous situation, starting a new life, reuniting with a family member, or rescuing a family member. But when you think through it, like, why would any of those situations require a gift card? Or why would any of those situations require crypto? The crypto has become a new avenue that's horrible, like AI, because once that money is gone, it is gone. There is no tracking it, tracing it, or figuring out where it's gone, and you've just lost your money. So I've created a new motto, Mel. Would you like to hear it?
Yep.
Crypto, crypt no.
Oh, wow. It's great. That was a dad joke, even though Jason
And
said,
I'm gonna trademark that because that was so good.
good job.
Um, Notice how they ask for money. A lot of them will have very specific requests for how the money is sent, right? It needs to be done this way, this how, through this means, because of this reason. And it will sound reasonable. But if you stop and you remove yourself from that situation, ask yourself, does this make any sense? And it doesn't make any sense.
Here's what's so funny. So one time I couldn't get into the bank account or something, and I had to ask Anita, and I was like, I have this from my gig. I can't remember the situation, but it sounded like that. And she's like, are you scamming me?
I know. I was like, are you a Nigerian scammer? And she's like, yes.
I'm like, yes. Also, thank you. Here are some things that have happened in real life to me or a friend that I know. So these are not from the internet. You can apply this to romance scams or just regular run-of-the-mill scams from strangers. So there is a really popular piano scam that somebody will find people who are teaching piano or piano players, and they send the same email out to people, and it says, hello there, and they never put your name in there. It's just hello there. And the information makes sense enough to somebody who is in the business of teaching and playing or whatever. But it doesn't have enough specificity. But what they're trying to do is they say, I have this baby grand piano that is blah, 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 and I want it to go to somebody. And I came across your music on the internet, and I want you to have it. If you would like to have it, all you have to do, it's been in the storage unit in Nashville, and here's the ad, and you look it up. It's a legit place. You can call them, and it's legit, quote, in air quotes, which means they probably just had a phone number tied to that place.
Yep.
And they say, all you have to do is pay for shipping and some of the storage costs, and we'll send you the piano. I have a friend that did that.
No.
And I was like dying, because I'm in piano teacher forums, and so everyone knows about it. This is a sax player. And he's like, Mel, I'm getting this amazing piano. Check this out. And I was like, I hate to tell you this, but this is a scam, and here you go. And yeah, he was embarrassed. So there's that.
Did you say crypto? No.
Mm-hmm. No, because it hadn't been invented yet, and I'm not so genius as to create that. But maybe next time I will. And then another one is one of my friends. He does recording sessions for people online. Well, they'll say, I need guitar for this. And he's like, great, I'll put my track on, blah, blah, blah. I'll send it back. So he did the whole project, and they had all of the exact musician, very niche lingo down. Like, it would have been as if one of us were talking to each other, right? And at the end, they get done, and he goes, it was crazy because the little fixes that they ask for, or the little this or that, they know.
Makes sense. Yeah.
And he said, then at the end, this is classic. They said, oh, well, I'm going to send you a check for $3,000, but I need can you just Venmo me this much, and then you can cancel that check. So there's a Venmo scam out there too, where they say,
we're going to talk about that in a minute.
There's that. And so he goes, immediately I knew what it was. And he's like, I had to just be like, it doesn't matter. I did track, whatever. This is not about my music, But for him, they're targeting him because they're like, this guy loves music and it's his job. So maybe he'll buy into it. He did not. And I got one last week. I got this text. It was from somebody, did not have my name, said, hello there. I got your name from da-da-da-da-da. I've never heard of these people in my life. They didn't say where they lived. They told me they had a student, because this is also another famous one too, but it's worded different. And so it's inquiring about piano lessons, but they never say the age of the son. They never say the style. They say things like, we're just really interested in this, our son doing recitals and things like that. It's like, okay, you obviously don't have, this is all fake, because I don't do recitals. I do other things for the students. I'm not a classical piano teacher, so I have a specialty. So they just kept going on, and it's just the number didn't make sense. The names didn't make sense. It was a strange area code. So, and I never heard from him again.
That's what I'm saying.
So you usually do if someone's inquiring for lessons if you don't write back.
Everything in the world can be made into a scam. Who would think of scamming piano people? That's so niche. It's just so wild.
Anita and I last week got an email from our bank, and it said, hello, false widow we do now.
I'm still trying to figure out what.
So when we were in Australia, I got a phone call, and it showed up as my credit union.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It said, which is stored in my contacts in my phone. And I answer it because I'm like, I'm traveling. Did something get flagged? I swear I flagged it. I say hello. The connection is super sketchy and weird. Mm-hmm. Hello, we're with da-da-da-da-da security, da-da-da-da-da. We're checking this out. And they're trying to say that I spent money somewhere. Well, I was shocked at first and I was like, I'm not even there. I'm in Australia. It went fuzzy and then it dropped.
Hmm.
And so then I was looking up and it's like, the bank's never going to do that. They do it in, a different way. But be careful about even returning a call where it might show up that it's from your institution.
Yes.
Go to the internet, the real internet, and get the
real
phone number
internet.
and type it in your phone. Make sure it goes directly. Like don't just hit call back. But yeah, they were trying to do a scam on me and it showed up as the bank.
Yeah. So that's something that I was going to talk about in just a sec. But the ways that they try and give you proof, phone numbers and caller ID are incredibly easy to spoof. So you should never trust a caller ID or a phone number as proof of anything. So don't take that as proof. And it's like you said, if you get a call like that and like sometimes I've gotten phone calls from my bank before about fraudulent activity, but they don't ask you for any information. It's more like, this has happened, press 2 to be connected or whatever. It's like, it's different, but you don't take that. You hang up and you get on their website and you call them. You don't call them back. You don't click on the number or any links that they have given you. And romance scammers will actually also use this. Like, so they've been known to say something like, I have all this money in my bank account. I just can't get to it. I'm going to give you the login information for my bank account so you can see I have all this money.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the website. Here's the login information. And it can look incredibly real because it's a team of people and they've made a website that looks real, but it's not real. So you can't use anything that they give you that has a link or somewhere to click into or a phone number. None of that's real. Just like the storage unit. They can have a phone number set up for that. That's pretty easy. So phone numbers can't be used for proof. And on that same line of reasoning, you know how on social media, I just got a text that is a scam on my phone, just so you know.
Right now?
Yes.
Read
right
it.
now.
Read it.
Hello, Anita. We're in the area and would like to check your roof for free. No, thank you. Block.
Send us $500 first.
It used to be that social media, if you had the little blue check mark behind your name, that meant something. It doesn't mean anything anymore. You just pay for that now. So if you pay $10 a month, you get a blue check mark. So don't assume that anybody who has a blue check mark is who they say they are, because that's meaningless.
It doesn't
now.
legitimize them.
Yeah, it used to mean something, but it doesn't anymore. So that's another thing that you can't rely on. Back to the sending money though. Also, don't let them send you money. This is another way that people get scammed. And I'm pretty sure that when you were trying to scam me that one time, Mel, it was like I need you to move money from our bank account to Venmo because of this and this. And I was like, this sounds like a classic scam, Mel.
It did.
But luckily she had spoofed her number, so I knew it was her. If people send money to you, there's a couple reasons why this is bad. The first one is often they'll say, I need you to cash this check and then send me just a portion of it. You can keep this amount for your trouble. And you're like, yeah, that's great. Look at my bank account. I have the amount of money, but for some reason, my bank won't let me cash it, which again, that doesn't make any sense. But what happens is that the bank will cash the check and you will send off that portion of the check, and then it will be a fraudulent check. And guess who is responsible for that money? You are. So don't do that. And the other thing is that maybe you do get the money. They do that to build trust with you. So if they send you gifts or things like that, that's just a way of trying to prove that they're trustworthy until they flip the tables and are not trustworthy anymore.
The next time they're going to be like, I overpaid.
Yeah, or 4 times from now. And then the other one that's super awful and sneaky too is that they can just be using you to launder money. So that's a felony.
Yes.
Yeah. So if they ask you to cash a check and then forward the check, maybe it works and maybe it's fine, but you've just laundered money for them. So if you're found out to be doing that, you might get a visit from the FBI, which has happened to people. So those are the reasons why you should not accept money from anybody either.
Don't pay in gift cards either.
It doesn't make any sense. But people still do it. and it's okay. You
And
know
guys,
what?
never, ever, ever, ever click on a link that somebody has texted you or emailed you.
Yeah.
Even if you think it's true. Here's what's also weird. I got a text from a friend that I've known since high school about some event. I didn't actually know what it was until after because I found out it was real. The invitation that he had made, when I clicked on it, it said that I had to sign in with my Apple ID into
Hmm.
iCloud. And I'm like, what? Maybe somebody is impersonating my friend Alex. And then I find out later that it wasn't, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know that.
Yeah.
So I should have texted back and been like, is this a scam? What is happening? But yeah, yeah,
You're
anytime
so
that
mad you missed your reunion, Mel. I know you are.
yeah, again, like Anita said, you're never above getting scammed. You guys, you need to listen to the podcast called Sweet Bobby.
Oh, I have listened to that one, but I
It's
can't remember it.
insane. You think that if you're smart and educated and have a good job and have good intentions and you're a good, nice, honest person, that
Hmm.
these things can never happen to you. You got to listen to it. It's really mind blowing. It shows that nobody is really above this.
Yeah. Yeah. And we want we have confirmation bias. We want to be proven correct. You know what I'm saying? Like it feels good to be loved. It feels good to be wanted. It feels good to be needed. And so we can talk ourselves into and out of a lot of things and saying but and then following it with, this is why the situation is different. Just like that forum that I was on where I was like, this is my situation and this is why it's not a scam. And it's like you want it not to be a scam. You are throwing aside your best judgment because you want it to be true. So when we're aware of our own desire to have confirmation bias, that helps. But here's another thing. If I feel like any relationship like this, you should ask friends and family, hey, what do you think about this? Because they are the ones on the outside who are not been part of that grooming process and who are going to be a little bit more clear-headed. And I think it's really telling if you feel like you need to hide it from your family or friends, that is telling you something. If you are hiding it because you think they're going to tell you that it's not wise and you shouldn't be doing it, you know that yourself. That's why you're hiding it.
Your body will always tell you, but it's really easy to bypass those little messages.
There
So
are so many stories where the scam came to an end because a family member found out or a friend found out and said, what are you doing? This is not right. This is not true. Look at this picture. It's clearly not this person. But because you're so into it and you've put so much of yourself into it already and you can't admit to yourself that it's something's not right. It takes somebody else to slap you sometimes across the face, metaphorically, to get you to snap out of it.
and as widows, look at what we've been through. Put on top of the grief and all of that stuff that we deal with on a daily basis, put on top of that the shame and embarrassment of getting hoodwinked.
Yes.
Because it's devastating. I mean, we want to make sure that when we're with somebody or doing things like getting a product, that it's in our best interest, right? We hope that somebody will care about our hearts the way that we would care
Yeah.
about their hearts. That's not everybody on the planet. The devastation of what that feels like on top of the grieving is insurmountable. I mean, I've been through some of that stuff before too, and it was like I felt like I was gonna die in a different
Hmm.
way than I felt after Scott died. The betrayal part was so hard from another human being, that somebody that, and it was someone that knew what I'd been through, and that person had a family member that was also a young widow. So it was all these things where I'm like, well, this should be okay because they'll get it. Doesn't matter. The healing process for that was like, I don't ever want to go through that again. So this is just a word of warning and caution. Try to not add anything on top of your grief than you already have to, and look at the
Yeah.
red flags early on. Just be a red flag collector.
Yes. And a payer attention of them, because sometimes I feel like we collect them and then we explain them away, instead of like saying all of these things together. Now, this is a little bit different. It can be used for other things, but don't send nude or explicit photos
Stop it, Anita.
to people who you haven't met. I mean, I feel like this is the day and age we're in where it's kind of normal to do, not normal, but it's not that unheard of to do that before you've met somebody, except for don't ever send me. I don't want to see any of that. Excuse me. Thank you very much.
But don't
Um,
send them even if you know the people.
okay, I was going to say if you do know the people, you need to exercise a lot of caution as well because those are used in extortion scams. So I have naked pictures of you. I'm going to share these unless you do XYZ.
I'm going to blackmail you, Anita,
Yeah.
since you send those
Yes.
to so many people.
I send them to so many people. So that's just another little tidbit that's not necessarily always in a romance scam. It can be even somebody you've met in person. But once you send that on the what is that called? The phone, the internet, the ether, you can't get it back. And that's ruined a lot of people's lives as well. So
Did you watch the show Unknown Caller Catfish?
I don't remember if I
And,
saw that one
oh,
or
you would
oh
remember.
good.
It's one
Okay.
of the most horrific things I've seen. I'm sure people listening, it just came out last week.
Oh no, I haven't watched it then
Okay,
either.
watch it, Anita.
Okay.
We have to talk about it. I'm unwell. But for those of you guys that have seen Unknown Caller, it's about a high school phone
Oh,
scam.
is it like nude photos or something like
Oh
that? It
no,
goes,
you
oh
just
no.
go,
Okay.
nope, go watch it and then text
Okay.
me and you're welcome and I'm
I have
sorry.
one that you need to listen to also because I'm pretty sure it's you. They're talking about you because it's called the unicorn, I think, or something like that. It's a lady from Utah. It's crazy. I'm
Wait,
gonna send
okay,
it to
send
you.
it to me.
Yes, yes.
But you guys, if you have watched the catfish one from the Unknown Caller, this shows that you're never above it and people that you think are good people with the best interests for people, no matter how old those said people are not above harming other people or
What?
believing crap.
What is it on?
Netflix.
Okay, good. I like those. Watch it.
Okay.
What do you do if you figure out that you've been scammed, Mel?
Stab people.
No, that's to tell if they're the devil, remember?
Oh yeah, I
Um,
forgot.
so the first thing is you just stop communicating immediately.
Don't negotiate.
Yeah. The second thing is don't delete your conversations though. A lot of people will delete them because they're embarrassed, but don't because they can be used either to catch the person, which is not very realistic, but maybe, but give law enforcement more information. You might need it for like your bank to prove that you were scammed. So keep all that information, screenshot it, don't delete it and then contact your financial institutions that you need to freeze your credit, things like that, and then contact law enforcement. And again, if it's one of those like consortiums from a different country, you're probably not getting your money back. But I mean, it's still good to report it because it gives us more data and it also helps with pattern recognition and figuring out what they're doing and how they're doing it. So,
Also, what you said, contact law enforcement. The one of the podcasts I mentioned, or the guys that I mentioned before, it's on the podcast called The Knife. It's one of their most recent episodes, Queen of the Con, Jonathan Walton's story. When Anita's talking about saving, it's evidence, essentially. You're saving evidence. If it's not going to help you, you never know if it might help somebody else who's been dealing with the same people or person. So keep that. And also, like in that podcast, he went to the police in LA and he said, this is happening. And the person he talked to said, oh, well, I mean, we can't prevent you from giving your money to people, so you have no grounds. And so he thought for a minute. He's like, wait a minute. It's like, that's not true. He's like, and he listed all these high profile cases of the same exact thing. And because he had done his research before he had gone into the police station, and he's like, no, that's not true. He's like, this is wire fraud. This is da 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 da. He knew his stuff. And at least he knew enough to say, I'm not accepting your answer of no.
right.
Then they listened to him because they're like, oh, well, we get a bunch of cases in here every single day. So no, go figure it out. Sorry that you lost like $150,000. But then this guy, he ended up, they did need all of those screenshots because he kept finding other people that he started a blog and kept collecting people that knew about all of this stuff. And then they ended up using it in court. So
Yeah.
you never know.
Yeah. I agree with that. Like it is a little bit tricky and you're probably not getting your money back and law enforcement really might not care because there is an element of like personal responsibility. Like you chose to do this, but you were also lied to and that is like that's illegal. So, and then when you're open about it and when you put it out there, you do find other people that it's happening to, and you might find that you can narrow it down to, a certain group of people or make a difference. So,
Yeah, and
yeah.
it might help somebody else to not get conned, or if it ends up helping that perpetrator to stop, same sort of thing.
Yeah. So that's those are my tips for how to not get romance scammed, but also don't get piano scammed and don't get roof scammed and don't get, I mean, we didn't even talk about stupid investment Ponzi scheme scams, which widows are also targeted because people think that we're rich because we like got money from life insurance or something. And while that's sometimes true, it's sometimes often not true.
Like, that would have been nice. I didn't get any of that.
So, I mean, there's just a lot of ways that we are targets. And come to the Widow Wives Club and ask us what we think about the person that you've met, and we'll give you our 2 cents too. We'll say, don't send him money.
Or if somebody in there says, send me the money, then we'll be like, that's a scammer, kick them out.
Yeah.
Karen Merrick will do her investigative research on them, and they're out.
Yep.
We might need to do a part 2 on this because there's a lot of information. Everybody, I think if you only come away with one thing from this today, look at behavior. That's number one. People can tell you all the words they want and say, but I love you, or I didn't mean it.
You're my queen.
Look at the behavior, no matter what, and protect yourself.
Yep. And
Sorry that people suck.
don't send money ever,
Yeah.
ever, ever.
Don't get a piano from a warehouse from a stranger.
So many things. We would love to hear more tips if you've got them or your experiences. We have had a few people write in, and we will perhaps share those scam experiences. Some of the scams in life are actually just society and what we have decided is acceptable. Like funeral homes are just a scam, and like there's so many things like that are legal scams that we could talk about as well. But if you want to share an experience you've had, and we will share that with no shame and no judgment on you, because like we've said, it doesn't matter who you are. They're really good at what they do. But if you want to help protect other people and maybe share your story, we'd love to share that.
Yep. And if you write into us, we will keep everything anonymous and write into widowwedonow@gmail.com. Remember, there are 2 W's between widow and we. So widowwedonow@gmail.com. Or you can send us the story on Messenger, Instagram, and Facebook Messenger, and we'll get it that way.
We should move them to WhatsApp quickly, Mel. Send it to us on WhatsApp.
No, Signal. Come on. All right. Well, join the Widow Wives Club on Facebook, like Anita said. Or if you want to help keep the podcast going, what could you do?
You can check out our Patreon. It's patreon.com/WWDN. I was thinking about things that were coming next. That helps us keep the podcast going and pays for the things that we have to pay for to keep the podcast going.
Yes. So if you have found our podcast beneficial and would like to help others to hear it, and as well as yourself, and get ad-free content at the $10 level and up, come on, go to where Anita said, patreon.com/WWDN. Or you can buy us tacos at buymeacoffee.com/widowwedonow.
Yep. And we always like a nice review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And until we get to talk to you again, I'm Anita.
I'm a scammer.
We're just 2 young widows telling you not to get scammed by Mel the Scammer. And we're all just trying to figure out, widow,
We
do.
now. Scam, 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 scam.
No, 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 no.
Crypt, no.
Mel,
Yeah,
we have a major announcement to make.
go for it.
Did you know that right now all plans on Mint Mobile are what?
$15 a month.
Okay, that's truly ridiculous. Do you know how much regular cell phones are?
Yep.
$1 bazillion a month. 15 is less than that.
New customers get 3 months of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month if you sign up right now. And guess what? I use it. I love it. I've used it all over the country, all over the world, and it's great. And if you're wondering about phones, they have those available as well, or you can just port your own number and your current phone over to Mint Mobile. They make it so easy.
So if people are interested in trying out Mint Mobile, How can they go about doing that?
Go to trymintmobile.com/WWDN. And you know, it's interesting. When my dad died, we actually put his phone on a Mint Mobile plan because it kept his number going, but it was $15 a month. So there you go. And there's different storage plans, but you might as well just get the unlimited because it's $15 a month.
Absolutely. All right, go try it today.
That's trymintmobile.com/WWDN.